From supply chain disruptions to bold new innovations, the transportation and logistics world is heating up. Join top industry minds as they tackle M&A and reveal what's steering the future.
Welcome to a special edition of The Hot Seat, a little heat in the street, right here in San Diego at the American Trucking Association Annual Convention. With me, talk about all things tax, a little M&A action right here. We've got Russell Norris. He is with Grant Thornton and heads up the transportation practice there. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right, so Russell and I just got off the panel. He did a wonderful job of moderating this thing, which we focused on the one big beautiful bill, a little bit about tariffs, a little about M&A. What were some of the highlights of the panel that you observed?
Yeah, I think we had a great discussion. A lot of good questions that came from the audience. Covered several important topics for the industry, including bonus depreciation being extended to 100% and that being made permanent. Talked about the change back to EBITDA on the 163J interest expense limitations, and talked about a lot around estate planning and the increase to the exemptions, and again, the permanent nature of that. And I think what the dialogue with the audience really focused on was the fact that all of these provisions are permanent in nature, the flexibility that provides them with the ability to effectively plan now and into the future, and just really good questions and dialogue with the audience.
So what are you seeing right now? I mean, this just, came to law within a matter of last few months. How is that trickling down into your actual relationships? Because you have many clients across the transportation space, all different shapes and sizes, but how is that new legislation changing the way that you're advising clients?
Yeah, great question. I think the important thing is to not really jump into it, but to really carefully plan, based on financial forecast, where you are in your business, and really thinking about what's the best tax answer across the board for you. As a quick example, and we talked about it on the panel discussion today with the 100% bonus depreciation, you have the ability to elect out of that or to elect a 40% bonus depreciation instead of 100%. And part of the tax planning process should be modeling out the interplay of bonus depreciation with your financial results as well as the interest expense limitation, and how do you arrive at the best answer not only for the current year but into the future as well.
I love that. So we also talked about estate planning. So give us the high level. What is the significance of the OBB specific to its impact on future estate planning?
Yeah, so effectively what happened is we were scheduled to drop the estate tax exemption back to $5 million in 2026. So before this legislation passed, there was a mad scramble to try to get estate planning done in 2025. And a lot of folks were rushing through that and maybe not thinking about, is this the right approach? Is this really what I want to do? And so the one big beautiful bill really gave people a longer runway to take advantage of that. And so the increased exemption to 15 million, which if you're married is up to 30 million combined, has now also been made permanent. And so instead of the cliff and kind of the mad scramble, you can take more time now to effectively plan the best transfer of wealth.
And, based on all of the pressure in our space, it's kind of hard to fully appreciate how significant these changes are. But over the next 3 to 5 years, when we're, hopefully, God willing, past this freight recession, how do you see this affecting the health of the industry as a whole?
Yeah, I think it's, what's most helpful, we've kind of harped on this a little bit, but the permanent nature of this allows you to plan and to focus on a longer term projection. And so I think one of the areas that we focused on is, okay, let's lay out a 5-year plan with our clients and based on your financial projections, where you think you're headed, what's the best answer from a current tax cash perspective, from a longer term planning perspective, from an estate planning perspective, what should you be thinking about taking advantage of now? And I think just the ability to kind of spread that out and to plan longer term is very important.
I love that. So where our paths often intersect is when our shared clients decide that they want to move forward with a possible sale. But before we do that, we're often doing a tax analysis on some projected possible outcomes. Tell us about the importance of that, getting that information in front, before there's an actual offer, like where you have to respond to. Why is that significant?
Yeah, I think there's really two key things to think about as clients prepare for a potential transaction. One is clearly on the tax diligence side, and do you have tax issues that you're probably not even aware that you have, right? And so thinking through that, and we talked today about that being as much as 12 to 18 months out, right? If you're thinking about a transaction in 26 or even 27, now's the time where you ought to be thinking about some of those tax risks and areas and have the opportunity to mitigate that now so that it doesn't become, a diligence item when you're trying to close the transaction. And then the other piece of that, to your point, is modeling out the tax impact and what that would look like from a potential transaction. And you can use all sorts of estimates, right? Estimated purchase price and so forth. But what that does is that allows you to help maximize your return and the actual benefit to you as a potential seller, because you understand the tax consequences on the front end. You can negotiate those with a buyer and end up with a higher purchase price in most cases. So it's a good opportunity to be thinking about those now.
And, education was a big theme of our conversation. I couldn't agree more. I find that sellers do a much better job of advocating for themselves during a negotiation when they feel comfortable with the net tax implications of a deal. Hey, listen, I really appreciate your time. Excellent job facilitating the panel. If you guys don't know Russell, you need to get to know him. That's going to do it for us here in the hot seat. We will see you next time.
Thank you.